First of all, I just want to say hi to everyone who's joining personally. I see Jonathan and I see Sue. Hi, Sue. And I don't know the names of people on Galaxy Tab A, but I love that you guys are almost color coordinated with the clothes. You have this. I just want to say hi to you guys.
That was
It
not
looks.
planned.
Oh, was it?
Wasn't planned. No, it wasn't planned.
We didn't know each other 5 hours ago.
Synchronicities everywhere. This looks good. And of course, Karen, Jim, and I'm sure Bev would be around somewhere. Mark. Hi, everyone. Hi, Erica. And I guess that's Sheila as well there.
Yes, exactly.
Hello with my go. So just want to say hi to everyone else who might be joining in through this online video recording. And hi, Mary. I just wanted to share my journey with Abraham and just getting to know about the law of attraction, coming to know about Abraham Hicks. And I was just thinking about my story and thinking about the things that I've learned so far. And there are these key moments in my life so far where things just were like beautiful. I had some amazing manifestations. So I thought that I would just along the journey, talk about those manifestations and maybe talk about some of those insights and talk about how 2019 was really special for me. And I think if you guys want to just ask a question in between, we can have those questions and maybe we can have it later. I think we'll flow with the go. So I wanted to start from the beginning where I wanted to share a picture of me um, earlier, when I was a kid, when I was about 6 years old or 7 years old, I always had this fascination with Santa Claus. Like I loved Santa Claus. I thought that it represented what for me now the universe stands for. This energy or this benign, loving, kind presence which is there for you, which loves you. So this is me when I was 6, and this girl believed in Santa Claus so much. She loved Santa Claus so much. Like I would hand knit a scarf for Santa Claus on 25th. And because just I knew that there was someone who loved me, who knew me very well, intimately. So he knew my desires. And I just was so happy to have someone like that in my life. Till, of course, there came a point when I grew up and I got to know that, wait, Santa Claus doesn't exist. Like, you have this moment where through someone you get to know that Santa Claus doesn't exist. So that part of my life was also fun. It also had its contrasts and all of those things, but still there was this latent feeling that there is something bigger. There is someone, something taking care of us, and there's always someone you can relate to. So you could call it God, you could call it universe, but I didn't have such a strong, a strong formulated idea around it. So moving along in that journey, that was when I was 6 years old or so, got to know about Santa Claus not being real. And then I found myself in college where I joined the college. I took up engineering as my major, biotechnology engineering. And it was something that I just went ahead with. It wasn't a hell yes, as Abraham says. It was just like, maybe let's try it out. And more than the thing that I was studying, it was actually the freedom that this college gave me, because I was staying away from my parents. I was in this university. I was on my own. I was independent. That's when I really started discovering, my own spiritual side. I started reading a lot of books around spirituality. I started trying to go to meditation classes, and I was studying engineering. I was doing well with my studies, but this was the side which is actually, I think that is a degree that I was getting, exploring my own, spiritual beliefs and ideas. And one of the things, when I can just look back to the first time I had an aha moment, or a moment where, I really found some solutions or some answers, was this moment when I was in my university's library. So this is an engineering college and it has a huge library, and it's like a labyrinth of bookshelves. And there are these series of books on mathematical engineering and physical this and all of those things. But something came over me that day. And I have a picture of the library that I'd like to share with you guys. And something came over that day that I was pulled towards a certain section in my library. And this is actually an actual picture of the library in that university. And you can see there are these rows of bookshelves. And something pulled me, and I had to just keep walking ahead and ahead till I went till the last shelf that no one would ever go to, and it had some fiction books, and it had this whole spiritual section, and that's where I discovered, and it was like coming home, and I was standing in front of this bookshelf, and there were books by Louis Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. There were books by Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. There were books by Abraham Hicks, and you name it, like all the spiritual authors, new thought authors, people who talk about law of attraction, secret. And my one of the, I think the first book that I read was, of course, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and that's where she talks about your thoughts. Um, Creating your life. And then there was Conversations with God, where I remember this particular sentence where he said that your thoughts are creative. And that was the first time where I realized that he was not talking about creativity as in that you are creative. Thoughts are creative in the sense that your thought has the power to create. And that shifted my whole world. That's I think about in 2013 or 2012 when this happened. And so I was just pouring myself, into these books and reading one after the other. I got into angels, so I was like really exploring a little bit about angels, and I was getting into Reiki. So I got my first degree Reiki and then second degree Reiki. So you think that someone's going to engineering college, technical engineering college, and learning about biotechnology, but I was actually learning about angels and law of attraction and thoughts and things like that. So that's that was my college experience. But during that time, a lot happened during that time. Something important that actually happened was that I was in a relationship also. I had a boyfriend, and it was not very satisfying eventually. Like, I remember that there was this one day I was just like so frustrated. Like, I was like, I am done with this. Like, I cannot, I deserve something better. And I remember this was after we had met somewhere, and then I was going back to my hostel, and just this strong rocket of desire just went out and said that, enough is enough. I don't deserve this. I deserve better. And now that I look back, that was the day that my current boyfriend landed in my university. And he, by the way, is German. So I'm studying here in India, in south of India particularly, in a relationship which was not very satisfying. I found out this huge rocket of desire that want someone who respects me. I want someone, who loves me for who I am, and I deserve something better. And I am almost like closing this relationship. And the day I decide that, that is exactly the day he lands in my university. So I was also part of an exchange program where, we would invite foreigners from different countries to come and work in our schools, our universities. And so I was part of that organization. And that's through which I met my boyfriend, who's German. And just it fell in place so beautifully. I never imagined myself to be the person who would be dating foreigners, in the sense that it was a thing in that organization that, oh my god, you can join it and you can hang out with the French guys, and you can hang out with the people from Spain. It would be cool and it's fun, just a summer fling. So I would just kind of not be that person. I would be very diligent at my work and giving them a good experience. But it's been 6.5 years since, and we're really, we've been in a very happy, loving relationship since such a long time. But still, I love how amazing law of attraction and how powerful law of attraction is, that I can be sitting here in south of India and sending out this rocket of desire for a perfect relationship. And law of attraction could be matching me up with someone all the way in Germany who has the same intentions, who has the same energy, and who's the perfect match for me. And there's almost nothing is impossible, right, through law of attraction, of course. So that's how I got to meet him. And that was back in 2013 or so. And then he would come and visit me in my university. And that was the first time I had this desire to now go visit Germany myself. So again, as an engineering student, the easiest, the path of least resistance for me to actually go to Germany and spend a good amount of time there to explore his country, to get to know about his culture, to meet his family, was through an internship. So in the engineering degree, we also do internships. So you could do it in any university in India. You could do it with companies in India. And I try to stretch it a little bit further. And I thought, okay, maybe I can do it in Berlin, where he is. I can find, he was in Berlin, which is the capital of Germany. So I thought maybe I could do it there and I can find an internship there and, be with him. And the first time I attempted it, it was through another exchange organization. And it was just somewhere in Germany, but I really applied myself towards that internship. I got my passport ready, I got everything ready, and I didn't get through. And the day I got to know that I didn't get through, I was sitting in my class, I got this mail that I didn't get through this particular internship through this organization. I excused myself from the class, from the lecture, went to the washroom, and then I cried and I cried and I cried. And there was a lot of resistance, basically. I released all this resistance because I was building this up so much that through this organization, I can get this internship. This is the only way out. And when it didn't happen, I had to release all of this resistance. And just in that moment when I cried it all out, I realized, wait, there would be something better. Maybe if this is not working out, it means that there is something better in store for me. And indeed there was, indeed. And boy, does universe surprise me. So a few months later, I had this inspired idea that why don't I just start trying to reach out these different professors in universities in Berlin. So I started writing mails to these professors and I send them my CV that this is what I've done. And the pure desire that I had was to be with my boyfriend, explore Germany, have the time to explore Germany because it would be the first time I'm leaving India, and have a really good internship. And I applied to 7 or 8 places, or I sent an email to 7 or 8 places. One person replied, and they wanted to have a Skype call with me, and I spoke to them, and she spoke to me. It was as if I'm applying for a degree in with English, and she said, "Can you form simple English sentences?" That was the interview. That was the level of interview. And then she just asked me, "Do you know this ABC?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did this in school." And she's like, "Okay, then you're in." And I could not believe it because this was so easy. This was so easy. I didn't have to go through difficult interview processes. I didn't have to prove my worth. And she was the only one who replied out of the 7 people. I was a bit disappointed the other people didn't. But then I realized that she was the perfect match for me. And so she was a master student working under the professor. And now since it was so easy, when I told my parents, they were like, "What, is this a scam? Are they going to kidnap our daughter, or what is going to happen? Where are you going?" So super easy. My dad, in fact, wanted to cross-check. He went ahead to great university in India, spoke to the biotechnology head of the department here, and he's like, "Should I even consider this?" And when the university professor went through the profile, it turns out he, in fact, started convincing my dad, "Do not think twice. This is a wonderful university. This professor is world-renowned, and the facilities that they have is amazing." And you guys won't believe how lucky I was because this university that I got an internship at has had 50 Nobel laureates come out of this. Albert Albert Einstein himself was a professor here at some point of time. And all of this came from my desire just to meet my boyfriend, just to go to Germany. But I also happened to have this internship where Albert Einstein was. And and everything fell into place for me so easily. So when I had to convince my parents, these other people wanted to, "Thank you, Mary. This was really amazing." And so these other people, so my mom had her reservations, her friends convinced her, my dad has a reservation, then the university professor convinced him. And accommodation was a thing. Then accommodation was arranged by my boyfriend, and I got it so cheap. It was around $30 per month. Um, and this is Berlin. I'm talking about the capital, and everything was so easy. So when I get there for my internship, the people are very nice. The people are so kind, and they're just helpful. And I had this impression that okay, maybe Germans are really like hardworking, and you're supposed to be working so many hours a week. But they were really chill. They said you go and you explore. If I wanted to have a vacation, I could have a vacation. And during that time in Berlin, I got invited to Italy by someone. So I went to explore Italy, and then someone else invited me to some other place in Germany, and I explored those places. I met my boyfriend's family. And those were the things that were so important for me, but everything was taken care of. My internship was beautiful. It was amazing. My like I could meet my boyfriend and his family, and I could explore Germany, and everything was easy. So there was a picture of me in front of the Berlin Wall. Yeah, and I was just so happy that there I am. I found myself here. Everything fall into place easily by the universe, managed by the universe super easily. Now, there was this one thing then after that that I wanted to also take care of. That was the money involved in the internship. So, of course, there was the cost of the flights and just general other costs. And I wanted to apply for a scholarship so that it won't be a burden for my dad so much. Because, like, at that time, I was just a student, I couldn't afford it. So, it was my dad mostly funding it. So, since I was into Reiki, I had written these, on pieces of paper, these different things that I want to have an easy internship and I want to be in Berlin with my boyfriend. And this is something that I also wrote for myself. I recover the money I spent for my time in Berlin conveniently. And you see these signs and symbols, these are all Reiki. So I was quite into Reiki back then. So I still have this piece of paper, in fact, with me. So because they all mean so much, like, there I have this right here. That's all the different symbols. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I applied for a scholarship, it didn't work out. But I remember this one day, I'm sitting in there's this office where all the master students and the interns, they have their tables, and this is a huge room and we all sit together. And the student under whom I was working, the master student, she asked me that, Sanjana, did you apply for a scholarship? And I said, no, actually, my dad has funded this thing, so I don't have a scholarship. And she said, well, if you'd want to, I could speak to the professor about it and maybe she can figure something out for you. And I said, that's great. That's amazing. Like, I felt like, thank you, universe. Something is, unfolding bit by bit. And this was halfway through my internship. So I was disappointed in the beginning that I didn't find a scholarship yet. But then I was just like, yeah, now I'm here. Let me just enjoy. Let's see if something works out. And so this one day I'm sitting at my table, and something in me makes me get up, and it's like my inner being literally like picked me up, was like, get up, Sanjula, and go talk to your professor about internship. And I was like a robot on controls. Like I got up out of my table and I got out of the office. And so her office was down the hall. Here was my office, here's was her, and in between was the washroom. And I started marching towards her office, and I was suddenly, my mind kicked in. I was like, what am I doing? I, quickly went inside the washroom. I was like, let me just think about what am I going to speak to her, because this was such an impulse. This was such a irrational, inspired action that I suddenly got up and went towards her office. I was like, no, wait a second. I should at least think in my mind, structure in my mind what I'm going to say to her. But then again, when I went inside the washroom, my inner being kicked in again, was like, go there, go right there. And I think that was the perfect moment where I could speak to my professor. And I went inside her office and I just blabbered. I have no idea. Till this date, I don't know what I spoke to her about. I just told her, I don't have a scholarship and I would love to have a scholarship and da 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 da, something, something, something. I really don't remember what I spoke to her about. But I know it was the vibrational match that was there, that, it was the perfect moment. She was ready for it. I was ready for it. And that conversation was ready to be had in that instant. And since then, so then I still feel this, like, this sense of uh, just a surreal thing that happened, that I was picked up, sent to her office, said something to her, and got out. And since then, my entire lab, like the lab assistant, professor, the master students working there, the interns, their next project was how to get Sanjula a scholarship. Like my entire lab, this set of colleagues, they're all working on, like, and that was my path of least resistance. Like if I didn't have resistance, I would have gotten the scholarship in the first way, in the first attempt. But this was my path of least resistance, where all of them during the coffee break or during the lunch break, they would sit around the table and be like, we could apply through this scholarship, or we could say Sanjula is part of this, and they were just trying all sorts of schemes. And i was I was still at the table. I was just wondering that this world renowned professor, I have put her to work on finding ways to get me money. This was really funny. But then, of course, there were a lot of things that I learned then about my sense of worthiness of money and this abundance of the universe and how much abundance there is in the universe. So I had to really allow that in and to kind of understand that, there is a lot of abundance earmarked just for me. And it can come through these people, it can come through a scholarship, but it is the money that was always meant for me from my bank up there in the universe or up there in the vortex. So that was a whole process of releasing a lot of resistance around scholarship. And of course, these geniuses, German geniuses, found a way of giving me the money for my entire internship, which I in fact received after I came back to India. So after I came back to India, one of them asked me to check my bank account, and then there was the money. And after having received that scholarship, this whole internship in Berlin would cost the same as me being in my own university and doing an internship there. So there was no added expense after I got the scholarship, so to say. So everything worked out so beautifully. Like the first time that I applied for internship through that organization, which rejected me, was not even close to all the beautiful things that I got. So sometimes when, there's contrast that is always giving you clarity. I got to stay so close to my boyfriend. And the other one was in a different city altogether. I had amazing colleagues. I had easy work and work which was in one of the most prestigious universities. I could travel all of Germany. I could visit his family and get to know so much about him. And everything just worked out so beautifully. So I think this is a good place where I could maybe take a break. And if you guys have any questions, I would like to answer them, or just any comments maybe if you have, because this was like a huge thing. This is something that was like when I really understood that, okay, I am powerful. I can create things, and things are not too far-fetched, or things are not so impossible. If you want something, that you can really have it, and not just have it, you can have it delivered in a beautiful way. So
it's so beautiful. I have a question. I love it, and I'm so happy you're telling your story, Sunny, and I'm so yummy, and I'm thrilled. I'm just enjoying this moment so much.
thank you.
And it's like when you were saying when you were saying all these good things happen just because you wanted to be near your boyfriend. It reminds me when Abe says, find something to love and love it, and then the floodgates of alignment will open up, and it works, and it seems like that's exactly what was happening.
So true. That is so true. Because
it's all these adventures and this rich experience, and all this art and adventure and beauty and all these people who were in on it with you because of the fun, and there was just no burden to anyone. And it just proves to me that it was the exact right thing for you to be doing. And it was just fun and beautiful, and you were following your education. You made your family proud, and you had fun along the way.
Win
all
the way.
Right on, yay!
Thank you, Tori.
We're all partying inside.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. So it was really like, I just listened to an audio. I think Sheila had posted earlier on the previous thread that where it's one of her hot seat experiences. And she was talking to Abraham and said that, there's something happens so easily, and universe has a way of surprising and delighting you. And then Abraham says that the surprise is in the details of how it works out. But that this is something that you'd wanted. And then Sheila says, yeah, it's like I ordered a pie and it turned out to be a very good pie. And Abraham said, yeah, it turned out to be an amazing pie. You wanted a pie, but you thought you knew pie, but you had this beautiful experience of having this delicious pie that you've never thought existed before. And that's what happened with me. Like, I knew I wanted an internship. I knew I wanted to go to Berlin and these components, but oh my God, I didn't know this was possible. So that is something that happened then. So moving on to maybe the next part of the story would be, now that this was the end of my engineering degree. This internship is the thing that I did in the last. And there were two things that, one was that I didn't know what, I knew I wanted to discontinue with biotechnology, and I wanted to do something which is related to uplifting people and helping people and, maybe some social work or something like that. But I had no idea what I didn't want to do. Like, I was very clear on what I didn't want to do, but absolutely no idea about where to go next. And of course, when you get this amazing internship and the best professor and best university, people have high expectations that you would want to continue and you would want to like go ahead. So I had all these things going on in my mind. There was another thing that my dad at that point didn't know about my German boyfriend. Like, he knew that I was going for internship, and he knew that there was someone in my life that could be, but it was also a thing in India. It's a bit cultural, a cultural thing that you're not so comfortable saying that, okay, this is my boyfriend. People are more comfortable when they see it's a committed relationship and maybe you're getting engaged and things like that. So that was also a huge thing, because I wanted to tell my parents. My mom knew, my brother knew about him, but I wanted to also introduce him to my family now, because now that I've visited Germany, I had absolutely no doubt in myself that this is the person for me. I wanted to like introduce him to my parents. So I had all these thoughts going on in my mind before I was leaving Berlin, that what next, what about my career, and how do I introduce him to my dad and things like that. So I remember there was this one day where I was kind of free, and I felt inspired to go to this beautiful park. So I had an amazing day. I was free to explore the whole city. I was just in this zone of feeling free. And this was after a couple of days of contrast, where I was trying to really search for a job which fit what I wanted to do, and having these thoughts of what am I going to do next. So this was an amazing day, free day, and it was summer and it was green everywhere, and I was just going around Berlin, and I was listening to some interviews on Hay House radio. So I was already high vibing, and I was listening to an amazing interview on abundance and things like that. So I find myself at this park. It was really beautiful. It was green. And I go and sit there, and I'm just enjoying this piece of nature. I was sitting under this tree, and it was like blissful, really, really blissful in this moment. I'm just enjoying. And I also had like a piece of paper with me, a piece of paper and pen. So I was writing down these things that the person on the interview was talking about, some analogies and things like that. And I was drawing that. Then something came over me, which kind of inspired me to draw the vision of my life that I would want my life to be in a year. So something just came over, and it was an inspired idea, and it came from the feeling of being very happy. I was definitely in my vortex under that tree, feeling free that day, just listening to a high vibing podcast. So I was just like in a high vibing zone. So I was like, let me just draw what I would want my life to be like. And I drew a picture of that. I just, in that moment of being in the vortex, and I added all these different aspects of my life. And here it was. The first part, if you see, is on the top left. Excuse my, masterpiece, beautiful drawing and things like that. But in the top left is my boyfriend and I. Yes. I'm the shorter one. and he's like driving off from Berlin. And then my family, my dad, my brother, and my mom receiving me in Roorkee, which is a city that we are currently in, slash Delhi, which is where we were. So I was not sure where we would be eventually. So my boyfriend, like, seeing me off, and I being received by my family. The next arrow goes to the whole family being complete, and they're accepting, supporting, and loving me and helping me in terms of my career choices, in terms of me trying to figure out what I want to do. No pressure from their side. Then the next thing would be that I find like a group of people, and I find like a good job, impactful work, very good money, wonderful supportive people, a lot of time for myself, great experiences. If you notice, none of these people have hair. I don't know why. Like, I just
You don't have a body.
in that moment of being in the vortex, I don't know. That's the best that I can come up with. But and that kind of job would lead me to talking to a lot of people and somehow being so cool because I'm wearing these shades and really satisfied and happy. And the last leg of this journey would be again me with my boyfriend and introducing him to my family. So you see the five of us in the center. And this was like really crazy because this part was like I was laughing at it. Like just like why not? Let me just draw it. Like huh, as if. But I drew this picture, and this picture is again with me right here because this was so important for me. It's so high vibing for me. I had put it up on my wardrobe, so whenever I would wake up, I would just look at it, and it acted like a vision board for me. But it wasn't. That was never the intention. I must make a vision board and must manifest this. It was just like this would be fun, and this picture makes me feel happy, so I wanted it to be in my room. And in a year's time, you guys, things worked out in such magical way. Like you know where this is going. I had this experience. So on the left, if you see, this is us in Holi. I don't know if there's about this festival of colors. There's my brother taking the selfie, my parents, and my boyfriend behind me, all covered up in holy colors. I find I found another like a startup. GoBuddy was a startup that I created with some of my friends, and that's me talking to like a crowd of students. I don't know if you see that girl in the white shirt, and I'm talking to a crowd of students, but not wearing goggles like I did in the picture, but it was very close to that what I wanted to manifest. And this all fell into place so easily. When I came back to India, my parents were shifting their house. So the focus was never on, oh, Sanjala's career, what is she going to do? So I had this breathing space to figure things out. And universe really helped me out with that. Like I really didn't have to just get into the next job, next career and things like that. I was inspired to take up an online course on social entrepreneurship because it was fun. I was like, let me just work towards something social entrepreneurship because it sounds easy and interesting and fun. So I was going through these online lessons and classes, and my topic I chose as helping students, young students, figure out their career because it was such a fresh contrast for me because I did biotechnology for 4 years, didn't like it, knew I wanted to do something else. So I thought I want to do something related to that. And this was an 8-week course. And I think fifth week into the course, I get a call from one of my friends who I have not spoken to in 6 years, 7 years. We were together in school. And he calls me up and he says, Sanjala, I have a startup that I want to create. I'm setting things up. And I know you were interested in helping people and something with social work and everything. So see if you can find something interesting here and then we can have a conversation around it. I was like, sure. And he shared with me a manifesto or a document around the startup. And when he shared it with me, it was about helping people with their careers and talking to students about careers and how they can be, do, and have anything that they want. And I was studying here an 8-week course, and I also had my journal ready with all these notes and homework that I was doing. And the notes was similar to what he was doing in his own startup. Like the odds of that are so phenomenally amazing. Like, of course, the odds of that are 100% now that we know about law of attraction. Me studying something related to helping people with their career And this friend of mine who I have not spoken to in so many years, coming to me and coming with this offer and saying, let's work on something together. So that's how I was part of GoBuddy. It was something that I founded also. And that is something that I started doing. So again, that came to me very easily. Like when I tell people about this, um, of course, there's always contrast. This contrast always leads to clarity. When I was in Berlin, I was so confused and very doubtful of myself also, what to do next. But with as I just went along, and after this, let it happen. Oh, that was the most important part of it. It said on the top, I don't know, I think it's inverted, but it said, let it happen. That voice came into my head. Like this was through the inner being saying, let it happen, allow it to happen. So that became my motto for a year. Let it happen, let it happen. You don't have to make it happen, let it happen. So that's how I got into that startup, and started talking to a lot of people. Also on the side, started coaching people a little bit, like a life coach, something that I thought later, now I know that that's something I wanted to. So there's always fine tuning that keeps happening, So I was in that career counseling startup, telling people that they can have whichever career that they want. But then also then I started taking up life coaching, on the side. And through that startup, I also faced contrast, because I then became this entrepreneur, this hustling entrepreneur, the starving entrepreneur that need to make things work and need to put in the hours and need to call so many people in the hour and don't have to sleep at all and all of these things. So that is the general, at least I've realized that that was the general idea around entrepreneurship in India. Or if you see motivational posts, about, oh, you need to work harder and da, 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 da. And this was so in conflict with what I knew personally in my life and what I had experienced, that things are supposed to let it happen instead of make it happen. And so there was a lot of contrast with that, because in my mind, I knew law of attraction. I knew things come to you easily. But then I was also part of this world, which was like hustle and work hard and dependent on the actions. So there was a lot of contrast there, because I could not mix these two aspects of me together. It's almost as if I was two people. One person who was talking to, who was a life coach and telling people, okay, yeah, things can come to you easily. And I was using law of attraction, again, using for certain things that I wanted ease with this call or ease with that, but totally not relating law of attraction to my work with the startup. That law of attraction is not a tool that you use. Law of attraction is not a vision board that you use for one thing that you want to manifest, for another goal. Law of attraction is all pervasive. Like it's in every aspect of your life. It matters what you're thinking about your startup. It matters what you're thinking about your clients. It matters what you're thinking about your relationship. So I was applying, so to say, and that's the time when I understood this clear distinction that, okay, it's not the processes that, okay, I'm going to manifest this. So if I want to manifest, say, another trip to Germany, which I did, I started making a vision board and I started doing affirmations and I started doing visualization. And then some part of me was like, this can't be it. You don't have to work hard even with the manifestational processes. You don't have to put in the hours with, oh, I'm going to do all the Abraham processes. I'm going to do everything. And then I'm going to manifest this trip. Law of attraction is there all the time. And whatever you've asked for is going to come to you if you let it happen. So that was a big lesson that I had to learn. Like there was this one time when I sat down and I was meditating. So another time when I heard my inner being speak to me so clearly, where they said, life is easy. Life is easy. Like this feeling just washed over me, where I just understood it vibrationally, that life is easy. That is the basis of your life. It's supposed to be easy. And anything that you're asking for is supposed to come to you, is coming to you. And you're supposed to let it happen. You're supposed to allow it to happen. And then when I understood that, then I realized that, okay, I cannot be someone else. Like in my heart, I knew these things, but in my actions or what I was doing in my day-to-day life was not resonant with that. So then I had to leave the startup. And that was also contrasting, because, this realization of life being easy and, alignment trumps all. came through contrast. That clarity came through contrast. And then I had to leave my startup that I thought, okay, no, I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to do something. And that's when I think Abraham Fund, this group, played such a huge important role. And you guys don't even know about it probably, but just coming here every week, talking to you guys, waking up at 6 a.m., having these people who knew about law of attraction and talking to you guys about law of attraction as if it's a norm, not like as if, oh, this is a technique or this is a secret thing that you can't talk to people about. Just sharing here all the amazing manifestations, amazing insights, and hearing from you guys about these things. And Karen, Dory, Mark, Mary, Judith, Jim, everyone who's like always would come, the regulars at that point of time, you guys provided me the support, the help, the incubation. That was like the incubation period, you know, that I needed to be myself more and to really kind of allow myself to be myself. And so you gave me those pockets. I would look forward so much to this time every weekend, that, oh, I can talk to these people, that I had these insights and I can share, you know. So I think that was, I think back in 2018, where I was like really trying to be myself more and more, allowing myself to be more and more. And for that, I really want to thank you and appreciate you guys a lot. And I think we can take another break maybe before I go into 2019. But if you guys have any comments or questions, I would love to hear or talk to you guys.
I have a question. Comment.
Yeah.
We're all having a break.
Something got noisy. Okay. Sanjula, hi.
Hi.
I can just sit here and just listen to you talk. Your voice, your pace, your excitement, your exuberance, your smile. It's like everything you say has a smile in it, and your smile is so beautiful and wonderful. But if there's other people like me listening in, Abraham, law of attraction, India, that just it's like, is it really, are you the only one in India that's kind of like, are you like this lone wolf in India that's decided, okay, I found something in a library. By the way, was that library in India the one that you found all those books? Okay. So it's like maybe just a short little something about, is also, you know, this is all in India. How does that fit? It seems strange, but go ahead. Is there a lot of people in India studying Abraham Hicks and law of attraction? And
yeah, there are, and that was something that I had to learn, because I thought that I am the lone wolf, as you said, Mark. I thought I am this only person who thinks that this is how the world works, and these people are like, no, action, action, action. And that was a huge point of contrast for me. And I remember this again, there was another thing where I was like, how do I make these people understand, and and I felt defeated. And my inner being again spoke to me in the shower, as you know, another beautiful like space where you have amazing ideas. And my inner being was like, you're fighting a battle that doesn't exist, and that's why you're losing. So I was fighting a battle with these people, thinking they don't know about law of attraction and their way of thinking is wrong, and this is how things actually work. Then I realized that I was tuned in with my frequency to people in India who didn't know about law of attraction. And I need to dial up to people in India who know about law of attraction, who know about Abraham Hicks, who know about these things. And not necessarily Abraham Hicks also. I think Abraham Hicks was my paths of least resistance, because even in Indian scriptures, even in Hinduism, there's a lot of, there's this huge concept around your thoughts turning into reality. And I never explored that deeper because of whatever resistance I might have had towards religion and things like that. But Abraham Hicks was my paths of least resistance, now that I think, because now that I dialed up to this frequency of being with other people who are like-minded and who know these things, there are just so many people in India. Of course, there are so many people in India, that is true. But then there are so many people who also know about law of attraction, who know about the secret, who know about Abraham Hicks more importantly. And that was, in fact, that is the perfect segue into my 2019, because I thought that, I want to switch. I want to switch to a new world, new understanding, dial up to a new frequency where I am in alignment with these people. I don't have to wait just for, I don't, not to wait, but in the sense that I don't want just this pocket where I can speak to you guys and that's it in my life. I want more of it. This is what this is what I believe in, this is who I am, and this is what I want to explore more. And that's what I decided in last year. So there are a lot of people like Mark. So that's what even I discovered, because I thought, oh my God, I'm the only one. No one understands this.
Just sort of interrupt. Just, do you remember the day? It was several months ago that we were on this call, and then there was a discussion about, you're in what, Delhi, New Delhi? Where are you?
Right now I'm in Roorkee.
Okay,
But yeah, I keep traveling to Delhi as well. Yeah.
And I remember Mary was on, and she did some kind of looking up, and she found out that, well, I don't remember the exact number, but there were like in the city you were in, Delhi or New Delhi, whatever, Abraham Fund members in New Delhi was like 1,500 people in, or 1,000 or some big number, whatever it was, in your city. That's in Abraham Fund. So that was amazing. And then I don't even know if we ever figured out how many people that are, I mean, so there's got to be a lot of people studying Abraham Hicks in India. So even though it's kind of, that was a shock to me, and I guess it was even a shock to you then. But go ahead.
I was like, what? Where are these people? Why don't I know these people? And then of course, because I'm not a vibrational match to them, my path of least resistance was to get to know you guys first and then realize, wait a second, maybe there are people closer by also that I can actually go and meet. And so that is what was a big surprise to me. So I decided, and so when 2018 got over, this period of contrast where I was like, no more hustling, more alignment, being more true to myself and all of those things, I decided in February, I set these intentions, I set these intentions on what I want to experience. So I did a 30-day program, my Mike Dooley, about thoughts turning to things. I think I shared also on my own page about it. So there I set down, put these intentions, and I thought, okay, what are these things that I want? So on the core was love myself. So this is a really poor whiteboard that I had made, like a makeshift whiteboard, but this was for me. I never thought I would present it in front of people. I'm just like showing a little bit what it was about. Being myself. I am loved abundantly and unconditionally by the universe for who I am. I allow all that I desire by being myself freely. Create my career for empowering the masses. It is easy to create a career around empowering people. I am allowing wonderful opportunities to be myself and uplift others. Allowing great prosperity and abundance through. I understand the feeling of abundance. The universe provides me with absolute abundance and prosperity for being me. It is so easy to create and allow money in my experience. Being able to travel and have adventures, it's easy to travel wherever I want. The universe is abundant in its ways to take me where I want to go. I am ready to go to Europe with my family. Now, this is Feb 2019. Be surrounded by loving, supported, like-minded family and friends. I am surrounded by people who love me and support me. I am I am enjoying time with people who see life as I see it. I enjoy being with my family and friends. So this thing, being surrounded by loving and supporting like-minded people, was a huge thing for me. And one of the things that started happening as a result of that was that some people in my own family, my aunt, my cousin, my another aunt, these people started talking to me about law of attraction. And I was like, what? I thought I knew you people, and I'm 25 now, and what? You guys know about law of attraction, and you like Mike Tolley, you read The Secret, and that was so crazy because of course I was tuned out of being a vibrational match to these people, and I thought I'm the only one. So of course that's what I never came across these people at this vibration talking about these conversations. But when I decided that no, I am going to allow these people, I'm going to have friends and family members who know about this and talk about this. And, that's when I started discovering these people. I would have so many surprising conversations and being like, oh my God, it's almost as if finding that, oh, there are other people part of the secret club. Like, oh, you too. and you as well. And then my mom, out of nowhere, started getting more interested in the law of attraction, Abraham Hicks. So everyone in my family already started showing up who, understood the law of attraction. And the other thing that happened through this was that I was inspired to start a group uh, around this beautiful group, Abraham Fun. And I started a group which is called Abraham Fun India. So this was a group which is now there, and it's for Indians who are there and people who are in India. And there are about 86 members as of now. I have not shared about this anywhere. It's something that is growing organically. And on the right, you see even we have our calls every Saturday night or something, or sometimes we don't, and however it feels. And then I found myself in a workshop which was around law of attraction. And this is a workshop which is about Abraham Hicks. 2-day intensive workshop about Abraham Hicks and law of attraction. And there are these wonderful people who came for that workshop conducted by another life coach who was talking about law of attraction. And look at all these people who were hiding from me that I didn't know about, or hiding from me, or I was blind to, right? I could not see these people. And so all these people started flowing in, and that started happening. So the next thing that I had put up on what I wanted to do was I wanted to travel a lot, as you might have noticed. And I got to travel to 10 cities. I was just counting last year. So many programs or engagements, and I got to travel a lot. And the most epic was I got this free trip to Kashmir that some of you might have known about because I shared about it on my page. That I got this trip to Kashmir, which is a beautiful place in the north of India. And it came to me through a friend who also knows about law of attraction. And she was like, Sanjana, one of my uncle, he's randomly calling me to Kashmir. Would you like to come along? And she knew that this was an unfolding. This is something that we had asked for. This was very random. And I was like, sure. Can I get my brother along? He also knows about law of attraction, and we all three get along really well. And she's like, why not? And then the three of us in Kashmir, we had so much fun there. And you would not believe that just a month before that, I was actually I stay in a place where there are a lot of hills and mountains also north of where I stay in the state. So a lot of friends would ask me if they would want, like, let's have a trek to this place, or let's go to these mountains where you're staying, Sanjula. And I was trying to organize something because I thought it would be amazing to go to the hills and the mountains, but it didn't happen with them. Then I tried to make it work with my family. I thought, let's have a family trip to somewhere on a hill station or close to the mountains, but that didn't happen. But I remember so clearly, I looked at a picture of the mountains and the valleys, and I said to myself, I deserve to go here, universe. I think I will go there. I know. And then, I don't know, a month later or 2 weeks later or a week later, my friend calls me up and it's like, there's a trip happening in Kashmir. Do you want to come? I'm like, sure. Why not? And it just came into my lap out of nowhere, and I knew it. All three of us knew it, that this is something that we've asked for. This is not something that we were striving for, trying to make happen. It came to us, and we were treated as VIPs, and we had just the best time there. So now at this point, like, this is already 6 months into me setting the intention, 5 months in fact, and I had started life coaching as well. That also a small story there, like, I would talk to my friends on Abraham Fun India, and I would say, we would talk about our dreams, and I said, I want to be a life coach. I want to be a life coach. And there was this one day I was like, wait a second, I should stop saying I want to be a life coach, because I've done this before. I've coached people. I am a life coach. I'll say this instead. So I started declaring to my friends there, like, I am a life coach. I am a life coach. And all of us started declaring the dreams that we had. I am here, and I'm doing this. And in 2 days, I got my first client. In 2 days, after I shifted my vibration to I am a life coach, I got my first client, and that's how that started working in. So of course, the finances that I had, that changed, because earlier I was the hardworking, starving entrepreneur, and now I'm the let it happen, easy, chill life coach. So things are much easier, Again, there is contrast everywhere, which gives you clarity towards what you want. So it sounds like, because I'm telling you all the highlights, and it sounds like, oh, this happened and this happened and this happened and this magic, magic, magic. But of course, there's also contrast that leads to the clarity of what you want. And then then of course the universe shows what you want, right? So, so the last part of the journey was me wanting to take my parents to Germany. Um, so this is something that I've been wanting since I got to know about Germany when I dated my boyfriend, and then when I went the first time, and then when I went the second time. So the contrast in that was that I would miss my parents. I would want to go with them. Like I knew that they would cherish it and enjoy it. And this is me posting this in 2018 for the first time ever in Abraham Fun. So this is, I found this space through Abraham Fun where I could actually declare this for the first time because I had not shared this with anyone. And of course, beautiful Dory was like, yay, of course. And Jim also posted something fun. And I just felt so happy. Like I found this safe space where I could declare this dream. Then I also had made like this kind of a vision board of experiences that I had before, and a picture of his family, a picture of my family, and the different things that, you know, that I would like to see with my family in Germany. So these are the things that I put up, and I took this picture and I made it my phone, mobile phone background for a while. But even in 2019, I was trying to make it happen in summer. Make it happen. That's when I was trying to like see if it can happen, and I was trying to talk to my mom a little bit and everything. But then instead of that, Kashmir happened. So I was like, it's okay. It doesn't matter anymore. But I remember in September 2019, I was coaching someone, and she was planning a trip to the US for December. So she was already applying for her visa in September, and she's going to the US in December. And I felt like, oh, okay, for someone who wants to travel abroad in December, you should be applying for visa already. And I'm not doing that. So maybe I guess this is not happening this year as well. It's okay. Like I felt a little bit like bad about it, but then I was like, okay, never mind. But somehow, since I think I gave up on it, the momentum picked up, and the conversations around Germany started happening in my family, with my boyfriend, in his family. And things started falling into place one after the other. Like, you know, we were talking more about it and how can we make it happen, or make it happen in the sense, when can we go and what would be the nice dates and good dates. And I remember that on 14th October, around my dad's birthday, we were still around this idea that maybe we can go, maybe we can't go. Like it wasn't even a sure thing. It was still an interesting idea that we were all contemplating together. And 1 month later, 24th November, we were already applying for our visas. Like the momentum was so, like momentum, the word momentum, like it picked up in a month's time, that from not being sure, like just contemplating this as an idea, to actually applying for visas, it happened. And like it happened very, very smoothly in that way. Like it took its own, the momentum took us over, and you know, everything fell into place. And of course we were there in Germany. And I remember when I was earlier that year, when I was looking at some pictures of Europe, because I would like to see pictures of Europe and make myself feel happy. This was a picture that I had put up on my phone wallpaper, just because it looks so good. It looks like German houses, and you know, or European houses, you would say. And I had no idea where this is, and it just looks colorful and pretty, and then I let go of it. And when I was planning our itinerary for the trip, I was planning these cities where all we could go, then this picture showed up again. And I was like, wait a second, is this somewhere in Germany? Because I was not sure if it is in Germany or Switzerland or France or Austria. It could be anywhere, it could be any street. And then I found that, oh, wait a second, this is in Germany. And then to my surprise and delight, of course, it was so beautiful. This was a place that, it's a town called Nuremberg, where we had planned to go twice already. Like we had this plan that we would be visiting this place, and we would be very close to this place. And that in itself was so huge for me, because this could have been any street in all of Austria or Germany or France, but this was 40 minutes away from where we were staying. We had planned to go visit that place very close by. And then of course, there was this one day where we were in a shop, and this was 500 meters away from us. Even though it was evening, I took my family, like, we have to get a picture there. And so that is all of us standing there in Germany, in the same place. And this was the most magical thing ever, ever.
Wow. That's fabulous.
And the universe is just so beautiful in the way it gives you the things that you want. Like when you get out of the way, when you let things happen, like, it happens, everything happens. That was my biggest takeaway, I would say. Like I had made Germany family trip such a big thing in my mind. Like I put it up on pedestal, like, oh, this is the ultimate thing. This is the ultimate desire. And putting it up on pedestal would be like, stacking up more resistance, why this is unbelievable, why this is too good to be true, why this would be like the ultimate thing. But I had to release a lot of that resistance in the process of applying for the visa, in the process of actually being there. Even after being in Germany, I had to release a lot of resistance, because we sometimes can put a lot of resistance around these lifelong dreams, around these big dreams that, oh, this is too big, or if this happens everything would be perfect or something. But it's normal. Like, we should, at least for me, my big takeaway from this was to not put something too high up there that this is crazy, because it's always a journey between our desire and belief, as Abraham says. So when the desire is in the same place as the belief, it manifests. But we have to like convince ourselves slowly that it is possible. There are families who go abroad, and I have traveled to Germany already, and visa is easy to get, and things are easy, and it's normal for us to go travel, and step by step, like releasing all of this resistance that I put in my mind, that if this happens, everything would be perfect. If this is the biggest thing ever that could happen. So I had to make it normal, be like, oh yeah, we're just going to Germany. And of course, that's when it manifested very easily. So my last year, when all of those things came true, the intentions that I had set really showed me that anything is possible. Like I knew about my manifestational power, so to say, or my understanding of law of attraction, my understanding of Abrahamics, and their teachings. But this year has shown me that really anything is possible. Like, you can really make anything happen and allow anything to happen. And everything that you ask for is always given. That is important to like shift to, like, shifting your energy and vibration to. One last piece that I totally forgot to mention, and it's really fun. I promise this is the last thing. So, um, just 5 minutes, I said. So when I was applying for the flight tickets, like when I was trying to get the flight tickets, I was like, oh, I'm the manifestational person, and I can maybe manifest discounted flights. I could get like, probably I will manifest some great deal, or I will manifest something, because I know a couple of other people who have. And so when I was applying for that, when I was searching the tickets, I did not get a deal. It was slightly on the expensive side. So we had set aside a budget of how much my dad would be paying for the trip, how much I would be paying for the trip. And in my mind, the flight tickets would be around 1,50,000. So now that is Indian numerics go with 1,50,000. That's, I think, 150,000 rupees, Indian rupees. So that was my budget in my mind for flight tickets. But our flight tickets for 4 people round trip costed around 200,000, 2 lakh rupees. I think 200,000 is how you would say it in American numeric system, 200,000 Indian rupees. And that was a little bit like, okay, I didn't manifest a deal. Well, I was a bit upset about it, right? And then I was upset for like a day or two, because there was resistance around it. And I was just like, And then I thought, wait a second, what's the point of feeling bad about it? Why do I even want to feel bad about it? What if it was a free trip? Like, I just wanted to shift my energy around it. And I wanted to pretend happy that what if someone gifted this to me? What if these flight tickets, like my Kashmir trip, what if someone had gifted this to me? What if all 4 of the flight tickets were free? And I have this whole rampage right here, I remember, because I wrote this down. What if someone had gifted this trip to me, and what if the tickets were free? And then I got to this energy that it is a trip that is gifted to you. Feel good about it. What if this is free? Someone paid for da. And I was super happy. And that's that. Flight tickets done, pay 200,000 Indian rupees, done. Now, 2 days later, we have a family gathering, and my uncle, my grandfather, he comes and meets me, and he's like, hey, Sanjula, you're going for this Germany trip, amazing and everything. And he hands me an envelope. Now I know, of course, it's typical for grandparents to gift your, your grandchildren money. So I was like, thank you so much, and very nice and all of that. And I didn't open it until he had left, and I opened it, guys. 200,000 Indian rupees. The check of 200 and the exact price of the flight.
My gosh.
And I had written this down on I have a big whiteboard in my room, and I'd written it down in big capitals. What if this was free? And my mom was like, you had written this down. What if this was free? And it was never an intention to manifest this money. It was just the intention to shift my vibration from feeling bad about not manifesting deals. Like, imagine I was trying to look for a discount of 50,000 rupees, but I actually got like the whole refund, so to say. And it just gets a little bit better from there. Beyond that, there was another time when I was thinking, well, wouldn't it be so nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we could just feel abundant and do anything that we wanted to do in Germany and not reserve ourselves and not second guess ourselves? Or should we do this? Or would it be too expensive and all of that? And I just got into the vibrational feeling of it. And you can imagine me doing this exercise and not having any expectation from the universe to deliver it to me meant that I thought this was impossible. Like, even with the free tickets, I was not trying to manifest anything. It was just to shift my vibration, because I was like, this is done. So anyway, I can't get money around it. I can't get a deal around it, but let me just feel good about it. And the same went for me trying to do it the next time, that what if we were like absolutely abundant in this trip and we could just like have no resistance wanting to do anything, like we could do everything. And then my dad, I think after 2 weeks or something, got 700,000 Indian rupees for this trip particularly. And this is on top. So 200,000 rupees that I got, 700,000 rupees that he got was on top of what we had budgeted already, that the money that we had put in. So we got 3.5 times more than what we had budgeted for the trip. And it came into our experience. Now, this almost sounds unbelievable while I'm saying this to you, like this is crazy, but this actually happened, guys. And I swear I'm not lying. So this actually happened. And that just goes on to show that, you don't have to ever figure out the how of how it's going to happen. You cannot be like, the discount, I'm going to get the discount, or I'm going to get extra, like I would get a promotion at my job, or I would get a raise in my job and then have the money for this. Just if you get into the feeling place of it without any attachment, without any expectation, not trying to manifest the money, so I'm going to feel this way, it just flows so easily. So I was already set going to Germany, already booked the flight tickets, whatever, with the money and everything. But it flowed in so easily, so abundantly. Like, it still gives me, like, I'm still like thinking about, and I'm still in awe of what just happened. So that was the last piece that I forgot to mention, but that was really epic, I would say. So that was the thank you. So that was my story.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, please.
I have a question. What about the guy? So, are you engaged? I mean, you've been with this guy, you've been going back and forth from India to Germany, and you've been doing all these fabulous things and everything. So what about the dude?
He's an awesome dude, I can tell you. I haven't shared any pictures because he's particular about his privacy, but I have a video that I think I would share under this, which has the entire trip covered. So he's about 3 years elder to me, and he's from Germany, and he's a big person who supported me in this everything from the beginning, from the get-go, because he's someone who's always given me, like, the wings to fly. Not someone like who believes law of attraction so much. He's a Protestant Christian, but he understands when I say I manifested something, he would think of it as God answered his prayers. And I would say it's the same thing. Like, for us, like, we respect what it means to each other, right? And I would tell him that, oh, I manifested this, I manifested that, and he would, I'm setting an intention, which for him would be like, praying to God. So like, through this whole time, like, even this trip happened because we stayed with his family. So that was even another level of ease, because the accommodation was taken care of, and his family is so amazing, you guys. His family is so amazing, so warm, and that is another level of manifestation. Was something that I personally wanted, was our families getting along. So we were there for about 16 days, 17 days, and in such a short duration, you're there for you're there for a long time, and it's intense. But everyone still got along so well because he was taking care of my family. I was, being a moderator, so to say, and yeah, and we kind of had like a ceremony, an Indian ceremony this time that we went there to make our relationship more official, in Indian terms. So yeah, I think, I don't know, I don't know what to say, but dude, he's really, really awesome. I feel like he's the angel sent by the universe. Like, he's so amazing for me. He's the perfect, not to say that we don't have our contrasts. Like, we have our fights and we have our, disagreements, but we always, um, we had a long distance relationship for 6.5 years. And for it to go so smoothly, so well, we had to learn how to understand each other and how to be constructive, because it's easy if you're disagreeing and then just like, and when especially there's this distance, you can easily just like, be like, whatever, I don't have to talk to you, you don't have to talk to me, and you can let it fizzle out. But then we would always, contrast leads to clarity. So that somehow automatically happened in our relationship. Whenever we would have a disagreement and a fight, we would come to the clarity of it, that what is it that this caused, or what is it that we want from this, and what is the constructive and productive thing to do with this argument. And somehow that has made us stronger. And I don't know, I can just keep gushing about him and talking about him. I would share a video with you guys under, I think, whenever Karen can post this video of this recording, so you can have a glimpse of our trip. And there are a lot of pictures of him. He's really sweet, he's really kind.
And he's very handsome too, I might add, when I saw that video. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And I got him all the way from Germany. Like, law of attraction is so amazing. And I told my brother about him. He's like, couldn't you find anyone from India? We have a lot of people. Like, don't blame me. This is the law of attraction. This is the universe. Got me who I wanted, the perfect match all the way from there. So yeah, and that also is another level of, because since he's from Germany, that has expanded also my understanding of what else is there in life, and what else, and there are other ways of living life. And I could step away from the constructs of the Indian society in many ways, and think differently also. So that has added another level of depth and love and freedom in my life. So yeah, so this was another, so my motto last year, 2019, was to be myself. So everything was like, be myself. So my coaching business was about being myself. Finding my tribe or finding my people was about being myself. And even going to Germany and taking my family to visit his family was about being myself, so that they can see that this is a huge part of my life. And being in Germany is also something that made me learn so much and shaped me to be who I am. So this is also about being myself. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Well, so I think you had mentioned that his family then would like to visit your family in India to reciprocate, that trip and experience Indian culture. So do you think that'll probably be in the works in due time?
It is for sure. I'm already pre-paving it. I'm already deciding how it would be. And like, in the sense, we have ideas about where we can travel, but I'm pre-paving it more in the sense of how it would feel to be together, how it would feel to just, in the appreciation of it. And so many levels, I'm just pre-paving it. I have a general idea that it might happen, because now he's studying his master's. So after he's finished with his master's, he's planning to come in India and find a job here. Then we'll live together for a while, and then we figure out where we want to go, stay in India or go to Germany. So I think maybe end of this year or maybe next year, they might come over. I'm not really sure when, but they definitely like India a lot, and they want to come and explore, and I want to give them an amazing experience. So I find just so much deliciousness and satisfaction in the thought of planning it, and the thought of, oh, I could take care of them in this way, and oh, I can arrange for this, and oh, it would be so fun if all of us can do this together. And that I think is so much fun, like, the traveling and being together and everything. So just the satisfaction that you get out of planning something, or just the idea that, oh, it would be so fun when we are together. So yeah, I'm doing that for them, and they are going to come here for sure. They have calendars of India. Even before they knew me, they had these pictures and everything of India that they found it very fascinating, like the colors here and the architecture here with old buildings and things like that. So they like it a lot.
Nice. How perfect.
Yeah. And I was lucky that I found this family also. Thank you, Mary. That that they are more open. They're not like, they also come from the countryside, so to say, or from the village side, but not in the sense that rural, but even Berlin is more like a cosmopolitan city where you have every fourth person is not a German. So, but they come from Bavaria, and for them being so open-minded and them being so loving and accepting, his other brother has a Japanese girlfriend. So they're just like this multicultural and, international group of people. And sorry, one of his cousins got married to a Russian guy. So like I found like the perfect place to fit in,
Yeah.
and my Indian family too, so that there was no culture shock. So they weren't like, what? This is too much. They are already like very open and accepting and learning and everything. So yeah.
When they go and visit you, Sanjula, I wonder, since it's such a big group, I was wondering if I just get in on that visit, I probably won't make such a big dent in it. Can I just go on some of the visit tours and the touristing?
You get to come on your own visit. You are invited personally. All of you
Okay.
come and have like a huge loving dent on my life. I would be so happy. I'm going to come and visit you. That's also in the works, I'm sure.
Please do. Please do. Pennsylvania welcomes you, and me in particular.
So same goes for you. So like, I would love for you guys to come over, and just don't think like you have to. Think about it, wonder about it. If it happens, not even if it happens, it's like, there's an opportunity that presents itself. Just dive right in, and the universe is going to give all the components, lining up for a perfect trip, and I'm going to be there for you.
Right. Just dive in, and the details will work themselves out as we start in motion. And so that's just lovely to think about. And I look forward to that happening. And I look forward to the adventure.
I have in my mind, in my vortex, this trip that I want to plan to the US, visit you, Karen, Jim, and whoever like I feel like meeting, and then also maybe we could meet maybe together, I don't know, and Judith also, of course, and then maybe I would attend an Abraham Hicks workshop, I don't know. So all this sounds fun, like all comes together. So this is something that I find a lot of satisfaction thinking about, like, yay, it'll be fun to meet you guys.
So since I already have India in my vortex, I asked to join the Abraham Fund India group, because even though I don't literally live there now, I am an official visitor. And so you'll see that I asked to become a member of your group.
Sure. I would be more than happy to have you around.
Nice.
Thank you.
That qualifies as an Indian. Yes, it qualifies for the group.
Yes. And so I already have a toe in the door. See, it's already in momentum has started.
Yes, it has.
And I already know Omkar, so you know what I mean. Like
You do. Yes, you do.
Oh,
and
Omkar.
Omkar.
Yeah.
Another, he's also an Abraham Fund. He's also Indian, and he's also an Abraham Fund, and he is one of the founding members, so to say, of Abraham Fund India, because I just knew a handful of people, and I was like, let's just start a group. And so
he's a Zoom chat regular. I mean, maybe not so much anymore, because he like Jonathan, we have a little bit trouble understanding him sometimes, but that doesn't mean we don't love him. We love him. We love you, Jonathan. You know what I mean? So
I'll just have to put on a fake American accent. You may tell me a bit better, you know.
But Sonny, I have absolutely no trouble understanding your accent. You've got one of the kind. of accents that fall gently on our American ears. And that is a super big compliment because
Thank you.
It's so amazing. Your you know, agility with English is just so, your vocabulary, your everything. I mean, it's just so
Right.
wonderful. And I loved when you said that you and your boyfriend spoke in English quite a bit, and but you're also learning German, and he's learning
Yeah.
your language as well. But I just loved thinking of how you guys, because you're just so adept, and if he's half as adept as you guys could very well easily communicate in English. It's amazing.
I think that helped also with my accent, I think, a lot, because I did enjoy speaking in English. English, in fact, is one of the official languages in India. So it's common that people would speak in English, but with the accent, of course, I think he helped me a lot to roll my R's and, you know, and some things like that. I don't think I had a very, very strong accent, but to make it softer and easier. So he was preparing me for you guys, so to say.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
I know some German. Sauerkraut, Hasselhoff.
Right.
I know Mark has his experience in Berlin. I think you've been to Berlin, right, Mark? And Germany?
Not, but I lived in Germany for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
in
And-
Worms, you said, right?
Town called Worms, and it's near between Heidelberg and Mannheim, south of Frankfurt.
Okay. Oh, I visited Frankfurt as well. And I remember you mentioned Garmisch Pink. I don't, yeah, I remember you mentioning. I don't remember the name exactly. Garmisch Pink.
It's it's Bavaria. It's near Munich.
Mm.
Yeah, like near Austria, and all of that. So you're gonna see all that stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know.
So I traveled Italy, Paris, you know, all that whole area. So
Beautiful.
I love Germany.
I love it too.
In Berlin in particular, is it not, very much like London and New York, very art, very, you know, eclectic,
Yeah,
very mix it up?
Sounds
Mhm.
like it. Yeah.
It
Yeah, I
is
never-
like that.
I was in Germany. It was nice. There was a wall.
Mm.
It wasn't quite as open, and we could go there, but I was in the military, and you had to wear a like Class A uniform, like a suit. And when I'm on vacation, I don't wear a military uniform, so I decided not to go to Berlin. There was plenty of other places to go without having to get all dressed up. And in the military, you get 30 days, so I got a 30-day vacation. Somebody from my family came over to visit me for 30 days, and we would travel all over Europe. So I love. That was a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And the Germans are fun. It's such a wonderful, clean country, and Germans are awesome. They're really all the Germans that I've met. The thing that I remember from them, they said they work hard and they play harder.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, this is good. A pretty good approach.
Yeah, they party and play, you know, harder than they work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have encountered only like warm people in Germany. Like, of course, there are these stereotypes of any country before you're leaving for a country, and then people had this idea that they could be reserved or they could be a little bit not so open or warm. But I never experienced that. I only experienced so much warmth, so much. So I mean, they were so welcoming, so much hospitality. Like they wanted me to be in the house. They were gifting me experiences, and they were gifting me things that. And now also to welcome a family of 4 into your own house for 17 days in general can be a little bit stressful for anyone. Like if you have your own house, and especially when it's the vacation time, it's Christmas and New Year's and everything. But it was just pure happiness and joy and connection and warmth. And you know, when we were leaving, he and his mom, they came to drop us to Frankfurt. So we were staying in Bavaria, but our flight was from Frankfurt, so it was a 2-hour drive. And while we were leaving, all of us just had tears on our, like in our eyes. We were just like crying that it was so perfect, and we were like in love. Everyone was in love. And like I remember when the first day we reached their house, so my parents and my family, they were all shaking hands like hello, hello, hello. And then now the day when we were leaving, everyone was just hugging and like sobbing and all of those things. So yeah, that's what it was, just magical. Like they are really warm people, like at least. And I think it's about your vibration. Wherever you go, you get the best out of people, or you get the best people to interact with you. So yeah, I think.
And do you think that it was your grandfather that gifted you that envelope full of money that covered the airfare?
Yeah, yeah.
It was your mom's dad or your dad's dad?
My dad's dad.
And so don't you think that he felt that coming? He felt that coming. He wanted to get in on some of that juice. He wanted to know, he wanted to amp up that feeling. He thought, this is going to be beautiful, and I know a way I can make it beautifuler. Yeah. And he said, plop, I put it right there because I see something beautiful coming, and I know a way to amp it up. And I'm like getting chills because he just thought, yeah, I see something beautiful coming, and I'm just going to put some sprinkles on it.
Did. And why did he? Like, and I spoke to my aunt, his daughter, like my dad's sister, who stays with him, and I called her up, and she follows Mike Dooley and Law of Attraction a little bit. And you know, guys, the funny thing about all of this was that when he gave me the money, it felt like it came, like I was so grateful for him, and I was so happy for, like, you know, just what you said, Dory, because I just looked at him and I had tears in my eyes. Were like, thank you so much, this means a lot. But I also knew it that this money came to me from the universe through him, and it just felt like, yes, this was for this. He was just delivering it, like, not that I'm taking away money from him, but he was just passing it on through the universe. And when I spoke to my aunt, because like he doesn't have his own phone, so I was calling her up when I later found out the amount and everything, and she said, you don't have to thank us, this is from the universe. This is from the universe, Angela, stop thanking us. Be grateful for the universe, and we're so happy to be a part of it. Like, she just said those things that I like felt it already, and this was like a validation that she's like, yeah, this is from the universe, Angela. So thank you. And that was it. It was so perfect.
Well, I want you to give him a big hug from me next time anyways, and no explanation. Just no
I'm
explanation.
meeting him tomorrow. I'm meeting him today. Wait a second. I'm meeting him today.
Oh, yes.
I forgot.
So cool.
Today. Meeting him in a few hours, Dory. Definitely gonna do.
What's his name? What's his name?
Oh,
like part of his name. Just a little part of his name.
You could say GC. Like the short of it would be GC. GC okay. Mansingh. Angela Mansingh, he's GC Mansingh.
GC Mansingh. I love that. I love that. That's it. I have a connection to GC.
Yeah.
I have like a really strong personal connection to GC. So that's something, that's like kind of huge to me. And so I just want you to just, okay. I sent it to him. He already knows it. He already has it. So you'll just give him that hug, and he already has everything else.
I'm just thinking how beautiful it would feel to me. Thank you for giving me that experience, Story. I would hug him anyway, but now this is going to be an extra warm, long hug.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And then whenever you do, you know, pat him on the back like this, right between the shoulder blades, right up high, behind the base of the neck, like right up high, but behind, like firm, yeah. Not too hard, not too hard. Don't give him the Heimlich. Like just nice. Give him that nice, not too soft, not too hard. Mm-hmm. Like that kind of thing. All right. Give him 11 pats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yay! I'm so excited for this. Thank you, Dory.
Yes. Oh.
What are the odds? What are the odds that I'm meeting you today? Oh my God.
100%. 100%. I just love you so much more than ever now, and you know how much I loved you all along, and it just grows and grows and grows. And tell you what, each one of you babies out here, I love you each. I love you each one. And Sunny, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. And it's just like, and this, you know how each piece of your journey of this vacation has just momentum and unfolded in just like a beautiful way, just like the garden in spring, how the flowers just keep blooming and blooming. This Zoom chat has been part of that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go ahead till my meeting with him as well. Like it doesn't end here.
It doesn't end. It just keeps getting better.
Better and better. The better it gets, the better it gets.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my goodness. I feel like I have just, like the feeling that a person gets from an ABE workshop when you just marinate in focusing, you know, hearing you speak of your life and filling in some of the blanks that we who know you even didn't quite know, you know, all of that. It just, it's just like, again, marinating. And what I said when Sheila spoke, and this has actually been true for when Jonathan spoke as well, it's as if, and other folks, when we marinate in this perspective that, you know, our beloved speaker shares, it's like I always know that my vibe has just been raised so much for that period of time that I always have. And Mark and I used to experience this with our in-home meetings. But I will have a manifestation tomorrow or yet tonight or sometime soon that I will clearly know came as about as a result of just thinking about how you set your intention for 2019 and previously how you know came about knowing Abraham more and more, and how you took these steps to more and more be yourself. Just hearing about that and pondering that is just such it's just so wonderful. It's just so life-giving and life-altering. So I can't thank you enough, Sunny. It is just a wonderful time of knowing what we know, but knowing it even more firmly as a result of what you shared.
Thank you so much, Karen. I feel so excited. When I started seeing that you guys were doing this, I was like, these are leading edge creators. You guys are just like upping the game every time with the storytelling. And I watched all the replays. I was so excited. Right? So like, I'm really, really grateful for you guys creating this platform. And you know how much I keep mentioning this to you over and over again. And like so much of what has happened and how you have, like I have soothed my vibration. So much of that has happened because of you guys and because of this group. And even before I got to like speak to you guys, like just being in that group, opening up Facebook, and then Abraham Hicks quote, and then someone's manifestation, and then Dory's feel good word, and then Mary's prosperity game, and then your amazing you know, whatever you share, you know, those thoughts. Then these things, that I remember the first time I spoke to you guys on the Zoom call, it was just the four of us. And I was starstruck, and I told you guys, oh my God, you're Karen, and I'm talking to Dory, and I'm talking to Mary, these guys that I look up to so much.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well,
you know, I look up to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, now we're starstruck.
Yeah.
We're starstruck ones.
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
And that's real talk.
Really loved your grounded talk. You're very grounded and inspiring, and I can just feel the energy inside of me where I think, oh, this is what it's all about, and I can relate to step by step and to let it happen and just to tune into that without pushing the envelope. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Sunny,
So
this
glad.
is my first ever Zoom call with this group, and I'm so happy that it was with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sue. I'm so happy that you were here.
It's the same with me.
Oh, it's his first call. Oh my God, thank you, guys.
It's yes, Deb's first time here with us, and that's so amazing. And so we're just so tickled. And Mary has been with us before, but we're so tickled that she could join us, and Jim, of course, and Jonathan, of course. And I know that if Sheila isn't hearing us right now, I know she will be listening to the recording. And what a great group.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, why don't we do a couple screenshots?
Yes, we must.
Okay, everybody look at your camera. I'm going to do 2 sets. 1, 2, 3. And then a second set. Mary Campbell, if you can put your camera on, I don't see you. Okay.
Okay.
If you can, if not, that's okay. Looks like she's coming. Yay. Okay.
There she is.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Look at your camera. 1, 2, 3. I smiled even though I wasn't in that one. All right. All right. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
that worked out really cool. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. And but Sunny, I don't know if you were here. Susan, am I getting it right? Susan in the striped tank top, is that your name?
Oh, Deb, is it Deb?
Deb, yeah.
Deb. Okay. Sunny, were you here? But Susan is to your left or right? Susan's with you, Susan and Deb?
No, sorry, that's...
I'm Carolyn.
Carolyn, I'm sorry, yeah. Carolyn and Deb. So I believe...
I can be Susan if you want me to.
No, oh, Susan's up there. Okay, Susan was on the cruises. Susan does the cruising. Okay, this is a neat story. I don't know if you care to retell it. In short, it sounds like Carolyn put up some Abraham books for sale, and Deb stopped by to purchase them, and they started hanging out and stuck around for the Zoom chat. Is that what happened?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And we started talking about 4 o'clock this morning because I'd advertised books, and Deb had come in and said she wanted them. And then I'd woken up and saw the message, so we crossed over a bit. And then 4 o'clock this morning, we got this huge downpour of rain. It's been really humid here. And it was just so refreshing. I thought, oh, I'm going to open the house up, and Deb was online. And so we started chatting. And about 6 o'clock, I just had to go back to bed.
We didn't know each other before today, and I've just come to pick the books up, and she said, shall I show you Zoom? And the rest is history. And there was a little bit of a coincidence in your story. My birthday is on the 24th of November, and you mentioned that date.
Yeah, I did. With the visa, everything was done by then. Oh my God.
And the blouses that look the same?
Yeah.
The blouses that look the same there with you, Carolyn and Deb.
This is synchronicity or something, right? Is that what it is? You didn't plan.
But I thought you were joking when you said that you didn't know each other before. I thought you were just like good old friends saying, oh, you don't know each other. I really thought so. Oh my God.
Yes, I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
I love you guys. Thank you so much. Like, what an amazing co-creation.
Thank you, Mary. See you. Let's all kiss to Mary. Mwah.
And you're only 25 years old. I can't believe it. You're 25 years old and you've just got this wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and you're able to express it from your heart. And it's just so lovely. Yes. It's refreshing. Really refreshing.
Thank you so much.
It is. Yes.
And it amplifies because of this group and because of, you know, these interactions, and my understanding amplifies because I recognize it in other people's stories and just the synchronicity for this example, for the co-creation that just happened. So the more we talk about it, the more we're like, oh yeah. And then it like you reflect, and it just like Karen said, when you marinate in these amazing juices, then everyone just, you know, gets uplifted together and understands together. And so I'm just equally grateful for you guys and appreciate you guys a lot.
And that's so absolutely true that even though you're 25 right now, you're infinite. And so this is just what you look like this moment. You're actually infinite years old.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Sanjula, you plan on talking to a lot of people about this, right?
Sorry?
And you do plan on talking to a lot of people about all of this, right? Can you imagine? For me, it just gives me a thrill to know that all the people that are going to run into Sanjula, and she has this desire to spread who she is, her happiness and her joy and all of what's important about life, and sharing with people what's possible in life. She has that drive right now, and you're going to be doing so much of that. I really get excited about that. And yeah, I'm glad that we all get to understand, but just think of all the people she's going to touch with this. That's so powerful and wonderful, and a wonderful thought to me. What are you going to get to talk to a bunch of people about this? You have plans, right?
Yeah, I do. I just want to, like, last year was being myself and just opening up more and more. And this year I just want to go and just have like nothing in my way. Just gonna just talk to whoever. Like just 3 days back, you guys, there was this person. So my dad is in the army, and then we have these groups of army and everything. So someone had come to visit us. So we have a connection through the army that we know each other. We've been in a city together. And she's someone who kind of follows me on Facebook. And then she's elder to me, of course. And then she comes to me, and she doesn't care about talking to my dad or talking to my mom. She comes straight to me and she's like, I am so happy to meet you. And someone I know before, I've met before, talked before, but she's like, thank you for that particular post. It brought me solace. So thank you for that. And you helped me a lot. And she just came to me, and this was a perfect co-creation because she wanted to meet me. She knows about law of attraction, but she didn't try to make it happen. It so happened that our husband was like, why don't we go meet the Mansings? And she was like, let us, because I've been wanting to particularly meet Sanjula, and she was happy to come and meet me. And then we all left my parents and her husband behind somewhere else, and the kids behind, and both of us were sitting here and talking about manifestation, law of attraction. And she was like, Sanjula, just let it flow. Just let it flow, and just, talk to whoever you want to talk to. And it was a big surprise to me, and there was a big validation and a kind of confirmation for me that, yeah, that's what I intend to do. Like, I don't want the law of attraction to be a secret anymore. I want it to be like common knowledge. People should know about it. Like, people know about yoga, or people know about gravity or Zumba or whatever. So I want to, again, share this with as many people as I can, but just naturally, I know that universe is going to take care of it, and is already taking care of it. So I'm just happy right now. Thank you so much.
I'm going to have the recording go on for another about 4 minutes. So anybody wants to sum anything up, or Sanjula, you want to sum something up? We got about 4 minutes, and then we'll turn the recording on. Don't anybody leave. We can still talk, but go ahead.
I just want to say that if and when you go to an Abraham Hicks workshop, Abe's going to pull you up to the hot seat, because the way that you can and do touch people's lives, you're the kind of person that Abe likes to get up into the hot seat. They like to get the kind of person that touches many. That seems to be the kind of person they like to get into the hot seat. And so that's you. Sue's like, yep, she goes to the cruises.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I hope that comes true also. Like, that is also another thing in my vortex. Simple thing, it can happen. Like, I'm bridging my belief towards it. Yeah, of course, anyone can go to an Abraham Hicks workshop. Anyone can go to a cruise. I know someone now who has gone to a cruise. So that's amazing. That's already a component along the way. So yeah, I think my closing thoughts would be also just wrapping this up that, again, let it happen. Life is supposed to be easy, and you don't have to even do the exercises or do the processes because you have to make it happen or you have to manifest. The thing that I've learned now the most is that once you ask, it is given. And that is the most important thing to believe, that, oh my God, it is given. It is given. So, just to let go of the beliefs that, how and the when and the what and everything, and do I deserve it or whatever. it's given, it's there, and it's going to happen. And when you allow it to happen, when you just have fun along the way, and when you have the fun and the thought of it, that, oh my God, it'll be fun when that happens, it'll be fun when that happens. And it just starts flowing into your experience. So you don't even have to set intentions, like I set intentions, or work through your beliefs, or do all of those things. Do those things from a place of being in the vortex and enjoying the thought of it. Just like, wouldn't it be fun if it was a free trip? Wouldn't it be fun if we were completely abundant? And lo and behold, it flows in, right? So it's all easy. Life is easy. Let it happen. Allow it to happen. You deserve it. So that's my closing.
All right.
Yay.
I can't think of better words than that one. That's awesome.
I just can't imagine in better words.